started in a minute.
There we are. Got my dream loops going now. I got my head bobbing. Feels like a Friday. Feels awesome. I want to welcome all my aliens, apes, and zombies. We're going to do a little recap here of kind of what went down in the NFT space this year. And man, what a year it has been. First off, congratulations to everyone at Vayner NFT for getting that check mark on. If you see it right up there, Vayner NFT, you got the check mark right next to Twitter. Thank you very much for that verification. That is awesome, a huge accomplishment. And that is for everyone working there at Vayner NFT and everyone following and listening to us and helping us out along the way, because this is the true NFT community, and you can't spell community without unity, and you guys have been that unity. We're going to break down a little bit what's going down here. We have Cool Blue herself back at it again. She has been busy meeting, and she has a meeting here in about 20-25 minutes, so I'm going to not talk too much here. But Leslie, how are we doing?
Hello. Oh my gosh, we got the check mark. I'm so excited to see that next to Vayner NFT. We are getting established, and it's so exciting to see the company grow and the NFT space grow. I cannot wait for this recap. It's been quite a year for NFTs. I've only known about NFTs for about half of it, so it's been very exciting. I'm so excited to go through this right now.
And I guess that is that it is the year of growth. And one thing that I do, if you want to check out on my Twitter page, I actually have us streaming live here on my Twitter page. One thing I do is I look at my metrics, the analytics behind how many people are following me, how many, who are my top followers, my top tweets, the top media tweets, etc. And, we could do the same thing behind VaynerMedia analytics as well, as we're seeing our followers grow by 5,000 in the last 28 days. We had Drew Brees as one of our top followers. Now we have Twitter verified as our top follower for this month. Des Bryant was the prior month in November. And you can see the top tweets just going up and up and up. And obviously starting in July with our top follower, Gary himself, who, 2.7 million followers right there, pretty much, talking from the mountaintops about NFTs, and has been in the space, pretty much from the beginning. But just to recap, from the beginning of this very year, if we put our thinking caps on and rewind to when that alien sold, the Christie's alien sold for 605 ETH, and that was $750,000 back then. All right, so 605 ETH, $750,000 today. 605 ETH, yep, about 2.26 million. So I mean, we're just talking about in a year's time, just the growth in where Ethereum's been, where NFTs have been. But again, none of this is a financial advice. This is just a recap. So recapping all the way back to January of 2021, where we did have, the $1 million, I shouldn't call it the $1 million, but, the alien sell that same day. I think a zombie sold. There was a hoodie that sold as well. One thing I remember is in the February timeframe is, you had the Top Shots coming out, and that really spurred a whole, flow of people into the NFT space. I mean, it was crazy that you'd have the normal collector now coming in the NFT space, the casual fan learning about NFTs just through almost osmosis, because so many people are talking about it. And what a tremendous, event to, let the common folk know about what an NFT is, just at a ground level. One thing I personally remember is just how NFTs evolved from something that was just almost a static picture to something that was a dynamic picture with sound and movement and different things. So and nowadays, how far it's progressed. All right, now we're moving into March timeframe, where you're starting to see some significant names where that are, turning their profile pics into NFTs. One I pulled up here was with AJ, where he pulls his top hat into Vayner Sports. And you're going to see more and more celebrities, people, tech-minded people changing their profile pics into these, and that was just in March. And now look at it today, where it's spiraling out of control. Not out of control in the sense, but that's how you identify with others. Just like Leslie, you want to talk a little bit about yours with World of Women?
Yeah, absolutely. Also want to give some shout outs. We have Ryan Allen in the audience, who's been an artist for our Bojangles campaign. Alina, hello, Drip Ballers. 1:37 p.m. Amazing. Alex, it's so fun seeing so many people come back and seeing people who work at Vayner NFT showing up. It's such an amazing community. We've grown throughout the year. And I mean, not exactly throughout the year. Even Vayner NFT is just a few months old. So that's been an incredible experience as well. So we're in March right now, right, Novo, in the recap?
You got it. We're in March. We're, almost a quarter of the way through, the beginning of this year.
I think we're looking at March. I had no idea what an NFT was in March. I had never even heard the acronym. But going into April, I saw Gary Vee mentioning something about 5/5 2021. So I officially started to question what an NFT was. I knew very little about crypto, anything in that area, NFTs, crypto, nothing. So as soon as I saw Gary saying that he's putting his entire life's work into this May drop, not telling anyone it was even NFTs, but I heard the speculation. That's when I started looking into it and what it was going to be about. But I knew that if someone who puts all of his passion and effort into what he does on a daily basis, like Gary Vee, is staking his reputation on what he's about to drop, I knew I wanted to be part of it. So I started looking into NFTs, still not understanding what it was. But when May came around, I waited for 5/5, and I think it was one of the first launches of the year. I mean, there were bigger launches like CryptoPunks and the ones that Crypto Novo just mentioned. But for me, VeeFriends was the launch that started it all. So I got to mint a Firefly that week, and that really started everything for me. Yeah. And I think that was the starting point for a lot of people in NFTs or a lot of non-crypto natives at that time getting into NFTs. So that's what started it for me. Crypto Nova, where were you in May when that launch went down?
In May, I'm going to rewind back to March, because there was a significant event that happened there for me. Is I started streaming, and one of those streams was with Pranksy, where he gave away CryptoPunks. I shouldn't say gave them away. There's a drawing. You bought a raffle ticket. Everyone got a crypto. And one of them actually were, they're starting to, getting dished out to, celebrities, or it'd be Mark Cuban. And then that's where you started seeing, like-minded individuals that saw the technology behind what Ethereum could bring, and then how that was tangible with NFTs, how that was being bridged, and how that was being distributed. Because right here, Pranksy was actually distributing punks that were held by Larva Labs, and it was a good way of Matt and John from Larva Labs to distribute it. That opened up even more things in April, where now photographers are coming in the space. Good friend of mine, Justin Aversano, is able to enter in the space. He's able to put up billboards through Save Art Space with CryptoPunks on it. He even owned a crypto pen. So you're seeing the community being built. And then within those communities, it was all about Discord. So where was I? I was hunkered down in Discord. Very similar to what you were doing, Leslie. And what we all didn't really know or realize is this Discord was an educational tool where we can get information readily available just by reaching out, communicating with either the director or the developers, the creators, the founders of a project, or even people who are in the same parallel circumstance you are, is just maybe learning. So you are able to use your knowledge of listening to Gary, if it was a tweet or hopping into a VFriends Discord and seeing what it was all about prior to the minting date. So, fast forward a little bit even more, then you have Zed Run coming into the picture. So you have a whole nother aspect of what you can do in the NFTs. Now this is on a side chain, so things are a little bit easier to get. But to answer your question, what I was doing in May, right now I'm looking at some artifacts sneakers that were attached pretty much for forging your CryptoPunks. And I was actually talking with Sam, a member of the Artifacts crew and Video Game Freak, just a really great friend. We all know who, his attachment with I can't think of it off the top of my head. Future, it's going to come to me. It's killing me right now. But anyhow, I was looking into what I can get from my NFTs, the access I got, and some of that access was getting some Artifacts shoes, which people at first were a little hesitant of the price on it. And, you had to do your research. And I did my research behind Artifacts. I felt strongly behind what they were creating and where they have gone and where they were going to. So in that May timeframe, same thing, doing research, figuring out where I wanted to go. I didn't want to extend myself. I actually didn't get into VFriends because I was preoccupied in different Discords.
Did I hear right, Crypto Nova, that punks were essentially given out in March of this year?
No, punks were not given out in 2017. They were given out, I think it was in March in 2017, where they were completely given out. In March of this year, the punks were distributed through Pranksy, where Pranksy had 150 punks, which were, I believe, he purchased, and then he used a raffling system, so everyone got a punk through, a raffle, so he was able to distribute and give out punks, so they weren't all in the same developer's wallet.
Okay, that's what it was. Wow, that is wild that all of that happened this year. Okay, where are we at in the recap right now?
All right, so I'm gonna hop to June, where Justin Amersana, which I talked about, had a Sotheby's auction for photography. So there again, photography in the NFT space, and then we forget about the Olympics. So the Olympics in July, man, that feels like forever ago. And what we saw at the Olympics is a fencer by the name of Curtis McDowell, McDowald. He was a fencer, and he changed his profile pic to a CryptoPunk, which he borrowed, I guess, from a CryptoPunk owner. So now we're seeing Olympic athletes changing their profile pics, and we saw a number of fencers from the U.S. Olympic team change their profile pics to an actually all knitted caps CryptoPunks, which was kind of cool. And we see that there again, unity and solidarity within sports and NFTs. Now, technologically speaking, in July, the voids, I was doing AR filters like you guys sometimes may see on some of my live streams. We were able to bring VR, that's right, an NFT into VR, where I put a VR headset on. I was actually my own void and was able to be in Somnium space and talk with some of the developers from and creators from voids. And we were able to, there again, showing how fast this space has moved from July, where you're talking in VR as NFTs, to, maybe 6 months prior, where NBA Top Shot just landed. And that was also the birth of, that's right, Vayner NFT. So Vayner NFT became, that's when people started getting hired at Vayner NFT, and that's when our Twitter account opened up. And we have progressed to today, where we have, let me get a couple clicks here, where we have 21,700 followers. Woo!
Oh my God, that is amazing. I remember when we were working on this, aiming to get 1,000 followers. I think when I started, we were at about 600 followers. So that's incredible to have seen that growth over such a short period of time. But that's how things work in the NFT space. It's literally dog years over here. So it feels like we're recapping 1 year, which for me really started in May, even knowing what NFTs were. And it feels like a decade has passed. It feels like so much time has passed because of all the changes that are taking place in so many people's lives. I mean, it's not taking over yet. We're still early, right? But it has absolutely changed my life. I know around that time, so we're in July. I actually had something really personal going on in July. So my second dad got really sick, and I was at a point in my life where I was looking for the next step and trying to cope with something very serious happening in my family. So NFTs and learning about them. First, I minted the friends, and then everything happened where my second dad got sick. I was preoccupied, but World of Women came around in August. And I was looking into that project, and I got really excited over it and over the possibilities, because I could finally see. Look, I love my Fly Firefly from VeeFriends. I love it, right? But it's not the most beautiful piece of work that I've ever seen in my life, and it's not something.
Hey, don't tell Gary. Don't tell Gary that.
I know. Don't get me in trouble, okay? But I saw World of Women, and I could actually see myself wanting to identify with an avatar, with an NFT, and I wanted to learn more about the project. The Royalties Club was very fascinating to me, and learning about, this is why I shared something personal that happened. Learning about NFTs and discovering this world became a sort of beacon of light for me. So not only was it kind of a coping mechanism, just diving into a new space, a new technology, I even worked backwards, understanding, then trying to learn what Bitcoin was, and eventually applying for Vayner NFT, applying for a job here. So diving into, I think the opportunities happening in the NFT space right now are just that for a lot of people. Maybe the space can be a coping mechanism for some people, but it can serve as a beacon of hope for people in a dark place, or just anyone looking to change something. The opportunities in this space are incredible, and it has absolutely changed my life so I applied for Vayner NFT in July, then started working here in August. And just in that short amount of time, my entire life has changed. I had a Twitter account, but I'd never used it. I'd started at about 100 Twitter followers. Even my personal following has grown. I've gained so many friends in this space around it. Obviously, an incredible understanding and passion for what's happening here and the technology of it. So that was my thank you for, I'll get off my soapbox now. Okay. Thank you for listening to my rant. But it really is something special that happened this year. And these key moments are just reminders of the evolution that's happened in a very short amount of time.
And that's what we are talking about. I mean, that short amount of time happens real quick, and that community that we've been talking about. Rebecca Rose, listening there, has been part of that community for me personally as well. So thank you, Rebecca, for listening. And that community has built and grown, as we've seen in that August timeframe, a major brand coming into the space when Visa they got a CryptoPunk, and that kind of, that put a lot of people's eyes. They opened a lot of people's eyes from that, just in that time, in that space, because people recognize that it's more than just owning an NFT. It's turning into a culture. And we've seen that. We've seen the Atom Bomb Squad drop in July as well. We saw other major projects drop. Companies of the old coming into the new with NFTs, new companies being born from the NFTs. And then we have this back to the NFT community where we had NFT NYC. And we saw right after Halloween, I think it was Halloween night in October, with just the Bored Apes and the Bored Ape Yacht Club party, and then the warehouse party, and everything based around New York, where people are FOMOing and just wanted to get there and wishing they had tickets, and they couldn't get tickets to get into events, and they saw what was happening in the space. And man, it was just awesome. It was capital A awesome. I don't know if it was because everyone was caged up, locked up in their homes for a little bit longer than they wanted to. I don't know if it was because people were so happy because of this new excitement based around NFTs and this new hope based around NFTs. But the energy there, the people there just made it such a wonderful event and something that I'll look back at, just like you were saying, Cool Blue, looking back at where you were at that time and what you were doing. Being able to communicate and talk with friends for the first time that you have been maybe on the social network streams for a while. Then you can fast. Yeah.
How fun was NFT NYC too? I feel like it brought a whole new excitement when we dressed up. I know for me that was so much fun. I know you've been anon for a bit now, for a lot longer than I even started dressing up from Halloween. But that was pretty game changing for me, at least, to see that maybe this could be something really fun in a similar way of Comic-Con, or where people do start to identify as their avatar in real life. I know for me that was game changing. I saw this space in a completely different way when I saw how I could contribute that way and have fun with it.
Personal note, I worked at a pretty conservative school prior to doing what I'm doing right now. So to dress up how I'm dressing up is totally out of the norm for me. I felt comfortable because the people around me didn't care if I was an alien, ape, or zombie. They knew I was Crypto Novo. They know Crypto Novo stood for anyone that needed help in the space. And that's all I wanted to do, is go out there and help people. So when I got on stage and had my little speech, it was talking about my journey, because maybe it helped one person. And if there's that task, then awesome. But I also got to drop a mic, which I never thought I'd do in a million years too, which was, something kind of, I want to say spur of the moment. I wanted to do it. That's why I dropped it on the couch, because I didn't want to break anything. But, that's what it is. It's about the journey. And everyone's journey started at some point, but it's where we all end up. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here with these spaces, is talking about our journeys and where we've been. The journeys always might, look like and smell like roses. There are thorns along the way, which often people don't talk about, but it's important to talk about those things. So with that being said, you need to get some research. Where does 2022 bring us? Well, you have research to bring us there. What project popular next year? Those projects will be led by the NFT community, the ones that want to buy into the project for whatever reason, maybe not for monetary reasons, but for, reasons of what they have in their past or growing up in their past, or maybe things that they're seeing in the future. But the important thing is to do similar things that Cool Blue spoke about, where she got into the Discords. She did her research prior to picking up her World of Women, prior to minting her VeeFriends. And same thing with me. I stream as much as I can to get people on, because that's how I learn best. I'm a visual learner. I try to work towards my strengths. And that's what I'm going to try to do in this next year, is work towards my strengths. If that means focusing on 1 or 2 NFT projects that I know and I'm near and dear to, then that's a momentum I want to go forward in. But what I always want to do is learn. Cool Blue, I know you got a meeting in 6 minutes, and I know what the meeting is, and I know it's super cool because we were just working on that deck, and I wish we can tell everyone, but we are working hard for the NFT community. And I know it feels like a Friday. Let's hammer through this meeting that I know you want to get to, but let's round it out for this year.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out too, and thanks for being mindful of the time. I want to give a quick shout out to Yarstottle in the crowd, because he is the very ape that walked me through my NFT journey. And I feel like a lot of it's very hard to dive into this world where there's so much to explore by yourself. So it's always helpful having, and I feel like a lot of people have probably followed you, Crypto Novo, to help them learn about the NFT space. So that's been incredible too. Okay, where are we at in the year? What else should we mention? I feel like we should just spitball really fun things that happen, like the VeeFriends auction at Christie's on October 1st. I got the POAP. I hope people in here got the POAP too. That was awesome. What a pivotal moment.
We had people chiming in underneath. We had the Gary's Christie's auction, where he actually has physicals at Christie's, was pretty neat. We had the Nike acquisition of artifacts. That was pretty awesome. There's a lot of replies for that one that we saw underneath there. Thank you for the replies. Adidas buying an ape, another one. What else we got in there?
Budweiser and Tom Sachs collaboration.
Woohoo! I like that one. Mechaverse, thank you very much. You can see them down there underneath our tweets. I want to be mindful of Cool Blues time and everyone else's time out there. We're going to catch up with you guys probably the Tuesday right after the first of the year here. So stay connected with us. We're going to stay connected with the NFT space. Thank you very much for listening. I want to say everyone out there, stay positive and love life. Peace.